Thanks for tuning in to Barbershop Sports Talk.
Now, you mentioned Dame. Do you think there's any chance at some point, maybe we're in the off season, that Portland's like, maybe we should trade Dame? I know this wasn't his best season before he got hurt. Is there any chance, or are they going to run it back with Dame for another year at least?
I don't think they would trade him unless he went to them and asked for it, which I don't think at this point he is in the position where he's going to do that. Like, if you're a market like Portland that isn't really like the place that gets a lot of free agents, and you have a guy like Dame who, when he's healthy, is a top 10 guy in the league, and he's talking all about, oh, I want to retire here, I want to stay here my whole career. You don't just say, oh, you know what, he's getting older, let's just trade him and start over. Because, like, how do you sell that to the fan base? And then how do you sell that to other players that, hey, we had, the guy who was, said all the things about wanting to be here, and then we just traded? Like, I don't, if he came to them and said, look, I think it's time, then I think that's a different conversation. But at this point, that's not really where he's at in terms of how he's feeling about it. I think he kind of flirted with the idea over the offseason. But I think at this point, especially now that he had this, there's so much up in the air with the organization. With Neil Olshey getting fired earlier this year. Like, right now, Joe Cronin is the interim GM. I believe he has a shot at keeping the job permanently. I know there are a few other people that they have looked at or are going to continue to look at. I think Dame would like to see kind of what the team looks like next year. I think this year is kind of a lost year. They officially said when he had the surgery last week that he's out 5 to 6 weeks, but I would be shocked if he played again this season just because they're going to trade a bunch of guys at the deadline. So I think the idea is you do what Golden State did a couple years ago when Steph broke his hand, and it's like, okay, you just do like a 1-year tank, you play for a draft pick, you let your young guys develop, and then you try to come back the next year and really, retool and bring in different guys and put them around. I think that's where they're at.